AP Statistics, Unit 3. I know, you're excited. Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about what else can go wrong with sample surveys. So in the first video, introducing all of this, we talked about what happens when we don't sample well. And two examples of bad sampling are convenient sampling and voluntary response sampling because they can lead to bias. Very bad. Okay, so there's a couple of other things that can go wrong when we sample badly. So the first thing we're going to talk about is under coverage. This is going to occur when you have some members of the population that are less likely to be chosen or cannot be chosen in a sample. So anytime you've got some people in the population that need to be included in a sample because it will better represent the population as a whole, and they're not being chosen for whatever reason, then that leads to an undercoverage in your population. That means some group of people or some group of items or individuals in your survey is not being covered because for whatever reason they cannot respond or they're not chosen. All right. Another thing that can go bad in your sample surveys is non-response. Non-response just happens when you have individuals chosen for the sample that can't be contacted or they refuse to participate. Okay, so when an individual chosen for the sample can't be contacted or refuses to participate. And the last one that we're going to talk about is response bias. This occurs anytime there is a systematic pattern of inaccurate answers to a survey question. Now, keep in mind that these are all types of bias that can occur if we sample badly. So let me go back up here again and remind you that if I sample convenience, if I use a convenience sample, it can lead to undercoverage. It can lead to non-response. It can lead to response bias. All right? So keep that in mind. And then voluntary response sampling can also lead to one of these types of bias, all right? But we also refer to voluntary response bias as something that can occur with voluntary response sampling. I know it's confusing. I'm so sorry. All right. Please remember that our voluntary response sampling and convenient sampling are methods that can lead to bias. It doesn't mean that we can eliminate bias completely if we sample well. It just means we can help to eliminate it as much as possible. All right, so keep in mind also that once we've collected data, there's no way to correct for bias if we've taken a bad sample. We have to scrap it and start over again. So always remember that the best way to sample is randomly. That's what we want.